Hello, my friends. Russell Wright, Network Empire, and OMG. We are going to be talking to you today about your profile setup, and this is what I call level one setup for your RSS one feed to rule them all. And I'm on the line here today with my business partners Sue Bell and Jimmy Kelley. I'm sure you're familiar with both of them, but I'm really excited to be working with them on this because you have this rare opportunity to have a really hardcore power team with you through this process of understanding. If I'd had a team like them the first time that I was going through these connections, I would have learned it so much faster and with so much of a better understanding than I did. So this is really, really exciting. Thank you guys for being with me today on this demonstration dash how-to dash insight session.
Thank you, Russell.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, let's look at this. All right, so just as a quick diagram overview, we're going to start and move to talking about your blog and your RSS feed tied to your blog. I know for some of you that the RSS feed is maybe a new concept, but just to start out, the reason I'm showing this really super simple diagram to start out is, let me just give you a quick word about learning. You don't have to get it the first time through, and you can take solace in understanding that the things that you're going to be learning literally are going to blow away any of your competition on the search engines. You're really going to have a level of expertise that honestly most SEOs don't have, or even just traffic experts. And you're going to be safely in an evergreen way automating not only your SEO domain authority, but also your traffic and your content in a way that's evergreen and proven in the field by our team. So if you have questions, there'll be locations and places where we can answer these questions. And don't try to understand everything the first time through. Although it's good to have an insight into how it works, just know that it might take looking at the entire process until you get to the end to fully understand the power of what has occurred. Would you agree with that, Sue, pretty much?
Definitely.
Okay, good. And so that's the word. I'm very much into learning and an expansive learning and how the brain works. Those of you who know me know that I'm very big into neuroscience of cognitive learning. And so just give yourself a moment to let things, and I talked to Mike Long and David Mills, they like to talk about that as anti-fragile. In other words, don't worry, your brain's not going to break. It's just stretching and expanding into something new. And there's one of my favorite mentors, David Allen, who says there's no such thing as information overload. There's only such thing as, what was that, Sue? There's no such thing as information overload. There's only such thing as meaning overload.
Yep.
So it's going to take a while for some of these things to have meaning to you, but we'll just quickly get through it. So RSS feed, that's one of the issues, one of the ideas and concepts that's meaningful through the entire process. This is the symbol, the universal symbol for RSS. And we're going to actually show you in what that's about on your blog. And we're going to talk about one of several services that you'll learn about over the weeks, but one that we're going to just introduce you, get your foot in the water, get your toe in the water to acclimate is something called Hootsuite. Because Hootsuite automates your Google Plus business page, your Twitter account, your Facebook, and your LinkedIn if you want it, which is optional. So that makes things quite simple. On the first layer, before Jimmy and Sue proceed to the next layer to literally blow everything up into this crazy, powerful one feed rule them all system. So I'm just giving you the initial steps. And those initial steps require things like profiles. So we're going to look at this same diagram right here. Okay? It's the same thing that we had just laid out horizontally. And after many years of teaching this, even the first layer to students, there's certain things that confuse them. And so we're going to make sure that none of that confusion really happens for you guys. And so we've done the hard work of understanding how to teach it or learning how to teach it and coming up with those perhaps blind spots or obstacles to learning so that you don't have to go through that. First and foremost, we're going to deal with your blog. And I'm presuming that everybody knows what a blog is. So that's yourwebsite.com, yourblog.com/feed. And hopefully you already know that /feed is the RSS location of every blog. Every blog on WordPress has an RSS feed. Okay? And that's actually, for those of you who already know that, that seems simple, but we have talked to students that don't know that their blog has an RSS feed. So for instance, I'm going to show you, before we even move on, I'm actually going to show you a blog feed, just so we don't make any assumptions. Okay, here's one of our blogs. This is not a very highly trafficked blog, and it's still under construction, but it's been around for a while. It's called Network Empire News. All you have to do is, since it is a WordPress blog, all you have to do is go /feed, excuse me, and you can see that this gobbledygook is here. And this is actually called XML, and Sue or Jimmy might jump in at any time to correct my technical terms. I use a lot of technical terms when it comes to marketing and calls to action, but I'm not as technical or SEO oriented as they are. So this is just an XML file. You can see it's right here. Now, keep in mind that we are in Chrome, and because we're in Chrome, you're going to get this gobbledygook, right? But it's just the way that Chrome defaults RSS feed. However, if you were to open up another browser, such as perhaps Mozilla is a good version to open up, you can actually put that in there, and Mozilla has a default mechanism that allows you to see what a feed looks like. So you can see I'm putting in Network Empire News /feed. It comes up in the same way, it comes up the way that human beings might appreciate it more. Okay? So you can see that the last post on our WordPress blog was Sunday, December 14th, a couple days ago, called Case Study. We published Matt's new case study on SEO silos and other tests. And of course, WordPress by default spits out a feed link in this nice automated fashion. It means that everything you publish, whether it's automatically published or published manually, automatically goes to your RSS feed. And what's really nice for you to know, especially those of you who might be a little bit uncomfortable because it seems like spooky and scary, like the first time I ever saw an XML feed, I remember running over to Sue and like screaming and saying, my website's broken or something. I know that sounds silly, but that was back in the day. She just patted my head and said, that's an RSS feed. That's XML. I was like, well, that doesn't help me. I don't know what XML is. Just suffice it to say that it's another coding language that stacks up these giant lists of posts and just keeps track of these posts behind the scenes. So you can look, if you scroll down, you'll see all the other posts. Using Mozilla might be a little easier for everyone because it actually is, human friendly, like we said before. It even shows the dates and all these types of things. Okay. Now, just as a quick aside, so everybody knows, since we're having fun with RSS feeds, it's very easy to deal with RSS. Now, in later videos and educational processes, Sue and Jimmy will talk more about these types of things. But inside WordPress, most of the feed type of items are going to be under your settings in an area called, let me make sure that I'm right on this. Let me see, it's going to be writing, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it's going to be, no, here's the feed. It's going to be in reading. You can see syndication feeds show the most recent 50 items. So it's kind of nice to know that when I just showed you those feeds over on here, I've got it set to 50 items. Okay? And that's going to be important because, with certain softwares that we're going to be showing you later on, all kinds of fireworks and hardcore major power tools we're going to be giving you, things can get out of hand pretty fast with the sheer power and the force of the stuff that Sue and Jimmy and I have been building for you. We want to make sure that you do know where you can go. If you wanted to, you could set this to 10 RSS links instead of 50, or you could send it to 100, and you would do that right within your WordPress blog, and that'll become helpful with Social Explosion and the one-feed supercharger and all these other kinds of super explosive things when you know how to use them properly. Okay? All right, so let's go back to our diagram so I don't lose everybody. And let me just show you right where we are. We're right here within your blog. I've explained what a feed is. Hopefully you already know what a blog is. It's all a part of WordPress. If you're dealing with an HTML site, this inevitably comes up. We can't really help you directly in the same way as a blog because HTML sites don't necessarily by default generate a feed. It's a common FAQ, so I just wanted to address it right away. There are things that you can do to turn HTML sites into feeds, but we do not cover that in this video. You're going to have to find additional means to create your own feeds, but when you do so, it'll have the same type of look and feel. So let's move on. Since we've kind of covered step 2, you might be asking yourself, why didn't I start at number 1? Well, number 1 is not something that I always cover, but I feel it's something incredibly important to cover today because most of you, at least I assume and hope, that most of you watching this video have heard a lot about us. You've been around for a while. You've either been on OMG Live or you've been on the Facebook pages and you've watched Jimmy and Sue and myself talk about many of these things. You've seen how we operate, and you might have come across certain releases such as Google Skyfall and other things that we talk about, and you might be confused. Many students are confused about social platforms, like when it comes to creating your profiles for these types of services. Like you need you know about social profiles. We'll assume that most of you do. Like Google Plus is a social profile, Twitter is a social profile, Facebook. You've got to make these profiles and put your location, your name, your identity, and various aspects of information. All of those can be used to your benefit. And these have to be really set up before you start using your feed and threading your feed through these locations. What we mean by threading your feed to these locations is simply, we are going to show you how to set up certain tools. In this case, today we'll show you Hootsuite, that will automatically act as a bridge between your feed every time that you publish. So instead of just publishing to your little /feed location up here, you see that? Instead of just publishing here, it will also automatically, as soon as you hit the publish button in WordPress, publish here, 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 and here, if you choose. Okay, and later in more advanced techniques, when Jimmy and Sue take their gloves off and start really getting brutal with how many places and how much power and syndication force you can use, you'll begin to get the picture that there is no real limit to the number of places you can feed to. Okay, that's why we call it one feed to rule them all, because ultimately this is just about your publish button inside your blog. So if you set things up right, just click publish and it's going to go everywhere. A word of warning before we even begin, because the rest of my team doesn't always talk about this. If you click publish, it's very, very difficult, especially when you've got the one feed to set them up, one feed to rule them all. It's very difficult to unpublish. So before you publish a feed on your content inside your blog, in other words, before you just publish a blog article, just be careful that your headline is spelled correctly. I actually found a typo the other day on my YouTube feed, and had to go in there and correct it on the YouTube video. But once they go out, it's not the easiest thing in the world to change it once it's been syndicated, once it's been broadcast. So that's one rule of thumb. I'd say my only real caution, something worth being slightly concerned about, and just, be disciplined about it. Don't publish your blog article when you're connected to all these feeds without checking at least your title tag, your title spelling. That's something that we've all been there, and we prefer not to do that. So because you have to create social profiles to all these locations, and eventually you have followers in all these locations, the Google dashboard is a concept that has really helped a lot of our students understand how to properly create a profile. We recommend that you have the same profile for each one of these social accounts. In other words, the same person. In my case, it would be Russell Wright. It would be Russell Wright's business page, Russell Wright's Twitter page, Russell Wright's fan page, Russell Wright's LinkedIn, and Russell Wright's Pinterest, which we consider an advanced technique. We're not going to get too much into this today, but Jimmy and Sue are going to cover that in more advanced modules because it's only images. And so there's a couple of slightly different rules, but we just want you to know that that's coming. That being said, people ask, well, why is the Google dashboard important? Well, when it comes to looking at things like you heard me mention, like Google Skyfall and other things, one of the things that we want you to be aware of is that some people aren't even aware. If you go to google.com/dashboard and you're logged in to Google, this is Google's own one control panel to rule them all. Okay? I started adding this process of explaining the Google dashboard not just as some kind of novelty technique. It's because with the absence of this knowledge leads to a lack of understanding of precisely how powerful and potentially dangerous not only to your privacy but to your network Google could be if you set things up wrong. Now, this is not alarmist. There's nothing to be worried about. I'm not saying that Google is your enemy necessarily. I'm not saying that you can't use their systems. In fact, we use them all day long. But it makes sense to understand that everything that you do tied to one Google dashboard is tracked and connected. And I mean that without exception. So for any of you guys who might think that people are being paranoid about this stuff, that everything is not all connected on the back end at Google, that the databases are not all matched up, and that they're not going deeper and deeper into privacy issues and settings, well, this is one of the reasons. What I want you to do is log into your Gmail account, preferably one you've been using for over a year, and go to google.com/dashboard. And then I want you to look at all of the behaviors that have been tracked over the last 2 to 10 years. Okay? You can see that all 42,000 email conversations are here, Google Photos, Google Plus, anything that I've set up, memberships, locations, everything that I'm downloading off of my apps phone. Okay, you can see the iPhone app that Sue recommended to me at coffee the other day. Yeah, I wasn't even online, I was at a restaurant, and it's here. Profile, search history, sites, tasks, and this is important for you guys to understand. Webmaster Tools, really? Okay? And that's totally fine, including Google Analytics was up here. Feed Burner, which we will actually be showing you at a different later date. My point here is that all Google services that you are logged in with, tied to a single user, you can see my name, my picture up here when I was on the beach in Kauai. That's me. That's my identity. And everything that I've done, everything I'm accountable for, everything I'm responsible for, from specifically, in this case, Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools, I want to bring your attention to. In terms of the larger setups, as you guys get more and more advanced, you'll know when it's appropriate for you to have a different Google dashboard and when it's appropriate for you to have one. And the other thing is there's huge advantages and benefits in knowing how this stuff is all connected. For instance, as soon as you open a Gmail account or a Google account with another email that's tied to a similar Gmail account dashboard, you can simply just go to the first thing they ask you is to set up a Google Plus account. It's really quite easy. As soon as you're accepted for a Google Gmail account, the first thing they want you to do is claim your identity. They want you to be a real person. The first thing they ask you is your name. Do you want a Google Plus account? Do you want to start connecting your friends? And for the purposes of what we're showing you today, you do. Okay? Now, the first thing that you're going to need to do is set up a regular profile. And we have quite a few step-by-steps. It's very easy to do. And you don't have to have all the fancy schmancy, crazy brain imagery. It's something I just grabbed from one of my software programs. And you can choose whatever image you want. Here's me in Kauai. And over the last couple of years, I've picked up some followers. And had some views, and I even have my part-time address here. So these are the things this is my personal social media update phase for my account. Now, one thing I would say is the reason I don't have pictures of cats, my daughter's families, and favorite restaurants on Yelp on here is because, well, I'm kind of an SEO-software guy. So I happen to share a lot of things that we publish on my personal profile. You can tell it's my personal profile because I've upgraded it to a plus Russell Wright. And so when we're talking about your social profile on today's lesson, we're not really talking about your personal, because I tend to not automate my personal account. There are ways to do that, but we consider that an advanced technique. And interestingly, it's not necessarily as important or valuable in the one feed to rule them all system for reasons that we will explain as we move through. So once you get although it is useful to do it, it's not our focus for today's lesson. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to show you, once you get that set up, you can go and create something called a Google Plus Biz page. A Google Plus business page, there's several different kinds of them, including a local versus a cause versus a brand. It's simply a similar thing like your personal status update, okay? But it's a page. And if you're familiar with Facebook and not familiar with Google Plus, you will understand the difference between your personal social profile and a Google Plus Facebook page. It's the exact same distinction. Okay, with, of course, different companies. So if you go ahead to profile and you go to pages, you can see that I have a few test pages made here. Okay, and you can see that the Network Empire news blog, this is a page that I already created a while back, so I don't have to waste your time by creating this in front of you. Okay, this is a test thing, and it's just been created for this demonstration. And here's some of the analytics. It's not even actually completely finished, so on and so forth, but this is how this will look when you're first getting in there. So let's go ahead and go into the platform. Let's go and see if we can take a look at this. You will need to set one of these up. You need to set your personal Google Plus profile up in order to get your biz page rolling. One of the things that I do recommend is when you set this up, and I'm going to go over this right now. As soon as you set this up, it's all going to get siphoned into your Google dashboard, which we started our conversation with. And that's not necessarily a bad thing when you're engineering all of this for success, and when you understand what's being tracked, and you understand, as Jimmy would tell you, how to manipulate all of this for your own domain authority, power, rankings, traffic, and what have you. That's really what we will be showing you guys how to do, and it's a dangerous amount of power. And a lot of it does begin on your Google Plus biz page. Now, this is kind of a silly, image, but you have all kinds of choices for default images. So I'm going to leave you to decide what you want to have in here. You can put your own personal brand on a Biz Plus page if you want. For example, if you're selling purple widgets or Dawn's purple widgets, you could put your purple widget in here if you wanted to, or your brand logo, but you could also put a face of Dawn if you wanted to. If you're Dawn, you can still add your personal page. I just happen to choose the Network Empire logo, which is somewhat impersonal in there, but you get the idea. The thing that is important that I want you to walk away technically is you can see down here under links, I really want to make sure, this is a secret, definitely one of the value PowerPoints that the reason that you're in the OMG community. You can see right here that the website, okay, the website, this check mark is there. If that check mark is there, it means you are a verified publisher. If that check mark is not there, it means you are not a verified publisher. Not being a verified publisher does not mean that you don't get your blog index. It's not horrible, but it's not great. It means that you are actually less of an authority, and it does seem to have some impacts on various aspects of rankings, of which I'm going to let Jimmy and Sue get more into. I definitely noticed that it does not appear in what's called the schema.org markup snippets page, which we're not getting into in this lesson, but just know that this check mark is very, very good. When the check mark is missing, it's not as good as it can be. And this is something that's so easy. The easiest way to get this website submitted is through Google Webmaster Tools, okay? Which again is the reason we're not going to get too heavily into that, at least not on this module, but that's one of the things that it's one of the reasons that I've that for you here over on your map. You can see how close the Google Webmaster Tool is because there's a relationship between these two, okay? As soon as you go into Google Webmaster Tools, and Sue, I don't think you wanted me to show them how to do that, right? Or did you? Okay. And it's kind of nice because what I want you guys to have is momentum. And it's kind of nice when you're building your Google Plus page to get verified, because first of all, you should feel a little bit sneaky, because what I'm about to show you, like 99% of the people don't really do it. And so you can kind of feel like you're cool and like you know something, because you do. To get that little verified link. In fact, if you go right into it and read the instructions of what the verified link is, it takes you right over to the site. But they used to have a, what is this? If it's not there, they'll actually have a what is this and tell you to go do it. Okay, so Webmaster Tools is pretty easy. You're going to go to just type in the search engine Google Webmaster Tools, and make sure, again, remember I showed you the dashboard function? Make sure that you are in your dashboard, meaning logged into the Google Gmail account that you want this tied to. In other words, it's a one-to-one relationship with everything, okay? So you should be inside the Gmail account that you just set up, and you should log into the Google Webmaster Tools. Just go to the search engines, type in Google Webmaster Tools, and since this is Google, the first thing that will come up is the Google Webmaster Tools. If you've never set up an account before, then it's not going to let you in. But if you've already set up and you've connected it to your Google dashboard, it's going to open just like that. Okay, it's going to just show you all of that stuff. Okay, so I've already gone to Google Webmaster Tools and I'm right in that account. So as soon as you submit to Google Webmaster Tools, here's Network Empire News, and as soon as you click OK in Google Webmaster Tools, you can literally go back less than 4 minutes back to your Google Plus Biz page and just click refresh up here in your browser, and you will see that you have been verified as a publisher. Okay? And so what will happen is you'll be verified, and that gives you the air of authenticity. All right? Now, what's more important than the air of authenticity? Oh, this is actually the wrong. It's not even that. Sorry, guys. That's going to be in the Google dashboard. Let me close my personal. What you guys will find is that having a good discipline about keeping everything, and see how everything in my tab is like lined up? I go from left to right, and I try to keep things in consecutive order, just like I show you here. Otherwise, you start to lose your mind, wondering how to go from each one. So when you refresh this, you'll see this. Now, as a quick advanced aside, and I think the advanced decide is worth it. Once you've been verified inside Google Webmaster Tools, we're actually going to leave a link below this video to rich snippets. And what will really happen is on your rich snippets, even if you haven't taken the advanced ONG modules on semantic stuff, we actually have some stuff coming depending upon which module you're in and which advanced levels in the training you're in. There's something called rich snippet. And when you click on a rich snippet tool, and we'll show you how to do this. This is actually Google's own verification system. And you can see here that it does not contain the publisher markup. Okay? All I have to do now is go to that Google Plus Biz page and grab the link and insert it inside the Network Empire blog and click refresh. And when this publisher gets turned on, this tells Google that we have authenticated our blog, not just our personal identity, not just our social profile, but now Google will recognize our blog as a publisher markup. Okay? And there's a couple different ways to include publisher markup. One of them is just inside of a widget, and we'll give you a nice little step-by-step on how to do that. Okay? So that explains why the first step, let's think about what we just did and what we just shown you is deceptively powerful. We've made you aware that everything is connected. Okay? We've set up a Gmail on a dashboard. We're aware that that dashboard is where Google is watching you. So you're not going to do anything, we're not going to let you do anything that's not copacetic with that one central hub. You've connected your Google Webmaster Tools with that dashboard. So that allows you in the future, and you get into advanced techniques, you're going to know exactly what websites should be in that particular Google dashboard and which ones shouldn't. We've created a Google Plus personal profile so that we could create a Google Plus Biz profile. And then we've connected the Google Plus Biz page to the Google dashboard and the Google Webmaster Tools by setting up a verified publisher by verifying the link. Okay? So in effect, we've done 1, 2, 4, and the Webmaster Tool. At this point, you're ready to roll, because what comes next, which is really kind of cool, is that your biz page, you can start putting in your social media profile. So as we move through Twitter, Facebook, and a couple of the social media profiles we're going to be showing you today, on the same biz page, you can start adding your links. And you can see I've been pretty naughty. I haven't even added my Twitter account or my Facebook page. These should all be linked here. Because when you get into some advanced techniques with Jimmy and Sue, Jimmy will be the first one to tell you, Google Plus is a domain authority of 100. All Google platforms are a domain authority of 100, and I'm not even talking about that just so we can get through the step-by-steps here. But when you get into those techniques, what we're showing you is all these platforms have a very high domain authority. So please do see our module on domain authorities. So that's really cool because now we're ready to set up a Twitter account. The things that you're going to have, what I suggest you do is you can see that the introduction here is about Domain Web Studio, because at the time I created this biz page, I was talking more about Domain Web Studio. But depending upon what your tagline is, what your introduction is, if you have a personal brand where it's really about Cindy's Cosmetics, then describe Cindy and the cosmetics. You can even put links in here, and some of these links actually pass do follow juice, which Jimmy brought to my attention, or Sue, I can't remember which one of you did, maybe both. And so it depends on where it is, but this page is actually fairly powerful when used properly. You can also add it links that are part of your whole arsenal. So each one of the Facebook, and we'll consistently come back to this as we create these profiles. So one of the things that you want to do is kind of write your profile out, like here, Domain Web Studio, or if I put my personal profile on my personal page, but just keep your consistent branding introduction right here, and take some time to write it. Okay, take some time to write what it is that you want to say, and put the contact information that you can either hide the contact information, but more importantly, make sure you have your domain, because for SEO purposes, we're going to make sure that you've got your domain. Okay, do you guys have anything to add so far, Sue? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, there's one thing that I want to say. Google is kind of sensitive. If you're logged in to your Google account and you try to create another Google account in the same browser, it's going to want to connect those two things.
Well, that's the real reason I wanted to show them.
You want to go ahead?
That wasn't clear. Everything that I showed you about the Google Plus dashboard, I kind of missed that, so I'm glad you brought that back. That's where we're doing this call together. it would be a bad idea for me right now. And I'm actually going to go out there and just go ahead and let you know what Sue has told me privately, and Jimmy as well. Even in incognito, it would be a bad idea to go. Yeah, guys, don't think
Yeah,
that, okay,
incognito
here's what a
does
lot of
not
people
cut
do.
it.
I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click incognito, right? And this type of stuff and go like this, and that's actually no longer valid. I have a software I use called, actually, I'm not even going to recommend it. I'm not going to let you know what I use. I have something that isolates IP addresses, and I actually have one that I've tested that goes down to the MAC address. But those are advanced techniques. Here's the bottom line. Just don't create multiple Google accounts on the same session. Sue, do you speak to that? Or if I'm wrong, can you correct me on that?
Yeah, yeah. So what I tend to do is I have one browser that I use all the time. I like Mozilla. That's my favorite browser. So I'm logged
Excellent.
in to my personal accounts in Mozilla. So I have
Mm-hmm.
another browser, either Chrome or Internet
Absolutely.
Explorer, that I use for everything else. So if I'm going to have a client or for some reason I'm going to create another Google account, I pull up that browser, I clear all of the
Yep.
cookies, I clear all of the temporary files,
Exactly.
and then I create the new Google
Yep.
account.
And,
And that's
and
going
that's
to keep it
what I
from
was mentioning
tying anything
before when
to
I was
anything.
telling everybody about Skyfall. I didn't know if you'd heard about it or not, or I didn't want to assume you'd been exposed to that. But that's really what Sue's getting at. She is the author, along with Jimmy, of some of the most profound information about the depths of the Google patents and where they're going. We're not just making this stuff up. Like, we're not sitting here in paranoid land. We're not conspiracy theorists or anything like that. Well, maybe a little. But it's not a conspiracy. You just look at the patents. So I just wanted you to be aware. The reason I put the Gmail or dashboard was in hopes that Sue would jump in here and remind and demystify some of the questions that we have in this area. So thank you, Sue, and again, jump in at any point. So let's keep moving so we don't make this video too long. We're already at 30 minutes. Let me see. So what we're going to do is the next thing is you're going to go to a Twitter account, Facebook. You're going to open a Twitter account by just going to twitter.com, start account. And you're going to take more or less the similar. You can rewrite the profile. I'm sure that Jimmy and Sue would tell you to rewrite the profile a little bit. But keep the same theme and the same idea that you had. So what I used to do is I just copy and paste the theme or the topic of my description and profile. So let's just open up the profile and see if I have something utterly embarrassing, because it hasn't really been. It's been a long time since I've looked at a Twitter profile. So if it's wrong, then you'll see the exact way not to do it, which is fine too. Yeah, so this is actually going to Network Empire, but in the case of this demonstration, since we're showing a demonstration, I'm actually going to edit that. That's going to want to go to Network Empire News, since that's the blog that I'm promoting. Okay, so in order to do that, you just go up here to edit your profile. You can also put a header profile up, and for the case of this demonstration, I'm just going to extend that to news because we want the same site to be promoted. Let's go ahead and save those changes. You can also, there's advanced techniques that you guys are going to learn that this profile that Jimmy or Sue would tell you that you can do. I'm going to keep it super simple right now. Just make sure that you have the profile filled out. Make sure one of the keywords, at least, that you're dealing with is in the profile. And when you first launch your Twitter account, go ahead and get some followers. Try to do a keyword research on the topic or theme that you're interested into, like search Twitter and find people who are into SEO, something like that, and then follow people, so that you don't have no followers. All right. So that's just part of what you need to have rolling. Okay. So that would have been the profile connection. Then this is your profile URL. Okay. One thing to bring to your attention is that everything that goes through Twitter is automatically transformed to their URL link shortener. That's stuff that's going to happen in advanced techniques that you're going to learn from Jimmy and Sue, okay, at some point in the training. Okay, so you just take this profile. I'll go back over to the dashboard, and since I'm dealing with this, I'll put my Twitter. It should have been here a long time ago, but I'll literally I'll add a custom link. And if you want to, you can even use things like, I'm not sure, Jimmy, what you would do, but I could actually use my keyword if I wanted to in here, or even an LSI keyword. Okay, so. Okay. Yeah, you can totally use a keyword.
Yeah, I'd
So we
definitely
could
use a
something
keyword
like, if,
in this
it's
instance.
kind of helpful to know what you're going for. I'm a little bit super focused here on just showing you the profile and how it connects. But if, for example, the Network Empire News was my keyword, that would be great. It's really not. But if I wanted it to be, SEO news or something like that, okay, I could put that there. All right, so for the purpose of this demonstration, if it is going to be SEO news, then I need to make sure that it contains that in the Twitter profile. So this is by no means any advanced copywriting for your profiles. So I could go like SEO news. Okay, something like that. So that's just a super simple profile. We're going to do advanced profiles a little bit later on, but you get the idea. So we're going to be showing you how to automate all these types of things through Hootsuite. Same thing with your other profiles. You would just take the similar topic and keyword and add them to, let's go ahead and look at what we have not created. A Facebook fan page would be one thing. And for the purpose of this demonstration, I've actually created a Facebook fan page. And also LinkedIn, I've got LinkedIn open. And please notice how I'm keeping everything open and how it's all connected to the Google dashboard, right? There's a method to the madness here. I'm just showing you how to keep everything open. Twitter is open, we're logged in. Our cookies are open. LinkedIn, I'm going to slide Webmaster Tools to the far right. I usually keep the Webmaster Tools way, way out of the way. Okay, and then we got to open Facebook, of course, because that's going to be, we're going to automate all of these things. Okay, again, create the profiles. Let me just make sure, let me pause for a second. Because Hootsuite allows you to publish to any page you want, I've got the page that I want to publish to open. I don't think I have to be on this, but I'm just letting you know that we are going to use natural language processing, which is a Facebook page we created. And I think I might have to turn it back to my regular Facebook, but we'll check that when we get there. Let's just stick this down here for a second because Facebook is a little weird with Hootsuite. But then we go to Hootsuite because once these things are all connected, a LinkedIn profile, I'm not going to get too much into how to create profiles in LinkedIn. You just keep in mind that LinkedIn is professional and technical, whereas Facebook is familial and social. Try to be more formal in your profiles when dealing with LinkedIn, because if you have an agency, especially if you're business to business or you have an agency, you're going to start creating a lot of relationships on LinkedIn that don't have the same vibe as Facebook. Okay, so you just want to keep that in mind. They both have a lot of domain authority. LinkedIn has a huge domain authority as well. So the decision as to whether or not you should use LinkedIn or not use LinkedIn is primarily based on the product and service and niche that you're in. Okay, so for instance, although we see a lot of niches like massage therapy and alternative health coming into LinkedIn, as long as you're in business, you could theoretically be on LinkedIn, but the question is whether you want to publish that particular blog. Okay, if it's not your blog or it's a blog that doesn't have to do with anything that you're publishing in your business, then you don't really want to use this. And their standards are a lot higher than Facebook in many ways, so just be careful with that. Looks like it's a domain authority 100 at this time. Okay, so that's where we are. Create your profiles, and again, for instance, LinkedIn really should go, since we're completing this profile, we've got to make sure what these profiles even say. Go ahead and find, you can see down here, it's a little bit hard to find. Just make this screen a little bit bigger. My profile on LinkedIn is linkedin.com/in/themezoom. Okay, that really should go in the same stockpile, if you will, of links on your biz page. Okay, so just add a custom link. You could use you can do whatever. You can use your slogan in there if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to start. What this means is I'm planning on publishing Network Empire News through my LinkedIn account, which for the case of this demonstration, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so we have Twitter, we have LinkedIn, we've got the Facebook page that's kind of prepped up. It's not a real topic, but I just wanted to show you how it works. And then at that point, we're pretty much ready to connect them. All right, so once these profiles have been made, and we're going to have a different discussion about Pinterest. Pinterest profiles are pretty easy, but the same things apply. You're going to want to have a topic and a theme and put those in your Pinterest account as well. And also you're going to take that Pinterest link and put it in your Google Plus Biz page as well. Okay, so now we're ready to move to connecting the dots. And in the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to use Hootsuite. Okay, and so what we'll do is I've set up a Hootsuite. We get lots of questions about Hootsuite. I'm primarily showing you Hootsuite because it's easy and in teaching. We have a lot more advanced methods we're going to show you, but I just want you to know how it works because it is free up to 5 connected items. You can see I've already connected my LinkedIn account. Okay, that means that I can publish through the same RSS feed that we discussed in the very beginning of this lecture to any one of those platforms. So let's add a social network. What they mean by a social network is, for instance, Twitter. Connect with Twitter. Okay, let me just make sure that I'm logged in. And all you have to do is click Add a Social Network. And if you already have Twitter open and unlocked, all you need to do is remember your password. And you're going to be able to authorize that application. If the application's already installed, you won't have much of a problem. And it will immediately import that particular Twitter account. You can see that. It's located right there. It's got my picture. And I did this before this call with LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's a little bit, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty easy to connect, but just wanted to have one set up for you. Okay, and we can add another social network. Even with a free account, we can add something called Google+. Now, just for your insight, Hootsuite only connects to Google+ business pages. It does not connect to Google+ personal. It will not publish to your Google+ personal. So just click Accept. And you have just connected Hootsuite to your Google dashboard, which is, again, the first thing that we showed you at the beginning. Okay, so now what it's asking me is which one of my several Google+ business pages would I like to automatically post to via RSS. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that. Well, we chose Network Empire News because that's what we're working on, right? Okay. Yes, I do wish to take ownership of that. Okay. Okay, in the process of doing this, we actually found out that Sue has taken total control over the Google Plus Biz page authority. So we can't add the Google Plus social network on this particular account because we actually already set it up on another Hootsuite account. So I just want to go ahead and turn that into a lesson. When you guys connect Google Plus, it's going Hootsuite the first time will ask you this. It's going to ask to connect via an application. Again, to what? To your Google dashboard. This is why I, again, brought that up as a key point. This means that Hootsuite is communicating with Google and letting them know that they're doing stuff. And you just click Accept. It also makes it easy to publish. Then what they're going to do is they're going to give you all of these possible pages. You're going to see them like I just showed you. And we're getting this error. And part of the reason we're getting this error is because it has already been accounted for, and we don't have managerial authorities in here, but you will. So you'll just add your social media there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into our account, and I'll probably cover up some of these things later. We're just going to go ahead and add a social network. And since Sue Bell has taken total domination control over the Google Plus pages, we'll go ahead and click Google Plus, and I'll show you, give you an idea what it will look like for you. We have to roll with the punches here. Okay, it's going to connect here. Now it's going to make me sign in. Let me just do a pause real quick. And just like I just showed you, it's going to try to access my same Google dashboard again, except this time I'm in Mozilla. And of course, it's going to show me once again the Google Plus business pages. I'm going to select Network Empire News. This one should be just fine. It's currently owned by the organization ThemeZoom. Do you wish to ownership social network? Okay, I'm having the same problem. Okay, and this one seems to have been added just fine, I believe. So what it looks like is when you add the Google Plus, it's going to have a green check right next to it. Okay. So I just added Jimmy Kelley, but we're actually trying to add Network Empire News, and I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this. Too. Okay, so we're going to add the Google Plus Biz page. We go ahead and click Add a Social Network and click Google Plus. You have all of the abilities to add the social network. Click Google Plus. We're going to connect with Google+, and what's going to happen is Hootsuite is going to attempt to talk, once again, to the Google dashboard. And so, again, bringing that to your attention, the Google dashboard to your attention, again, is to help you be aware from the beginning, like many, many people are not, who are not as advanced as you, how things are connecting and who's talking to who and where it all goes back to a single point. Click Accept. Now Hootsuite is talking to your entire Google Plus account, including all biz pages tied to that Google Gmail, Google dashboard. And I clicked this green arrow a moment ago, and that green arrow has allowed me to include any of these biz pages that I want. For the purposes of this discussion, I'm going to use this account to publish to Network Empire News, and heck, I might publish to Jimmy Kelley's page that I made for him. Okay, they're trying to pitch me on the upsell, which is 100 social profiles. They only give you a few. Probably next time I'll put Jimmy on there because we have Facebook to do as well. Click Finished Importing, and you're going to see, normally what you would see is on this profile, you'd see that, let me just maybe see if it's a refresh, you would also see Google Plus appearing as one of the social profiles that you can automate. There it is. Network Empire News is now one of the social profiles that you can push to. Isn't that lovely? Okay, now we're also going to go to, again, the Facebook fan page. Same thing. You're going to click Add a Social Network. And by the way, if you ever need to get to this home page, one of the complaints that you hear in the industry about Hootsuite is that there's so many buttons and it does so many things that you just don't even know what to do first. And when you start having a lot of social accounts like this one, you can see there's a lot of stuff. It gets pretty full when you're publishing to more than one location. Okay, so just remember, always click up here in the left-hand corner. When you click in the left-hand corner, it's going to bring you by default to this profile management system page. Okay, now we're going to click on Facebook. It's going to connect with Facebook, and at this point, it's going to try to connect with your Facebook account. But in order to let me in, it's got to switch to my default profile, and it's going to ask for your password. Okay, if the password is added, then it will give you the ability to look at all these different accounts. And I'm going to choose only the one that I want to choose, which is here. And it's going to go ahead and add that, presuming I have enough accounts. Okay. I may not have enough to publish that today because I've got a free account. So I think they only give you like 4 or 5 accounts. Okay. So on the free version, you're not going to be able to, let me see that. The free version, you're not going to be able to publish to pages. All right, we'll go ahead and just bypass that for now. Okay. But the way that happens is you'll have all 4 of these accounts. All right. So we'll belay Facebook, and I will actually show you the accounts on the free version. They must have downgraded from having, I think at one point they allowed you 10 free accounts in Hootsuite. They must have reduced the number of accounts that you could have coming through here. So we'll leave Facebook off, but now you know how to add things at any time if you decide you want to upgrade. Okay, so here's where things get kind of fun. You remember that, and we're pretty much almost done here. You guys have made it a long way. All you need to do is go to your Network Empire News, just grab your feed. Hopefully you remember /feed. In Chrome, it looks a little bit like gobbledygook. Go back into Hootsuite, and here's the trick that a lot of people using Hootsuite don't know you can do it, but it's very, very cool. You're going to go over to Settings. You're going to go to RSS Atom. You're going to add an RSS Atom feed. You're going to put the feed URL directly in. You're going to drop down, and because you added those social networks, and in fact, when you upgrade, of course, Facebook will be there as well. You simply just connect. I want to go ahead and automatically post that to Twitter. Personally, I want to do it, if it's a normal blog like the one I'm posting, every 24 hours is just fine. In our advanced training courses, we of course talk about rapid publishing, and then you might want to go every few hours. Okay, but one post at a time. If you want to, you can include a text in your post. I'm not going to get into that here. I use the owl.ly shortener, which is a pretty high domain authority. And then go ahead and save that feed. You can prepend. We're going to not do that right now. It's going to pull a little excerpt of snip. Include text from post in the message. Click Save Feed. And boom. You are now, what's going to happen, just so you guys understand how powerful this actually is that every 24 hours, Hootsuite's bot is going to come back to your RSS feed and check this top position and see if, and hopefully you remember what it looked like for human beings. It's going to come back and say, okay, if yesterday on the 14th, Russell published case study, SEO silos, and other tests. And what it's going to do is say, is that new? And if the answer is yes, it's going to publish it directly to your Twitter account. Okay, and you'll be able to literally go over to your account and you'll see the new update on your Twitter roll. Okay, so it'll be like right here. In fact, I believe this is it. This probably was the owl. No, that's a bit.ly, but this is what it'll look like. Okay, so just keep moving on. Now you've just completely automated Twitter. And the only time this will ever go from on to off is if something really, really bad happens to your blog and it's down for like 15 minutes, or your server goes down. It'll turn this off, and you can set it to give you an email and say, hey, your feeds are down. What happened to your blog? All you have to do is come in here and turn it back to on. Okay? You can add a new RSS feed because we want to automate as much as we can. Network Empire News feed. We're going to drop this to this is the Google Plus Biz page. Okay? Go ahead and automate the Google Plus Biz page every 24 hours, one post at a time. We're going to recommend one post at a time. There are times when you get to be very naughty where you're going to do more posts at a time, but that's not for you until you get a little bit more ninja. Okay? One post at a time is fine. Include text. Use Owly. They do give you some different. Owly owns all these link shorteners. So if you want to mix it up a bit, you can go to hit.ly. They're about roughly the same domain authority each, which Jimmy will talk to you about later. Click Save Feed. And boom, you have just now automated your Google Plus Biz page. And in fact, your test is going to be when you publish your next time on your blog, next time on Network Empire News, you're going to go back here and you should see a nice post coming from the blog directly into your, in fact, actually this is wonderful. This actually is a feed that was published through Hootsuite. And how can I tell? Because that is owl.ly. That's Hootsuite's native link shortener. Okay? So we're almost done. And we've kept it right under an hour, which is just wonderful. You click RSS items. We're just going to go ahead and add that again. And we ask ourselves, what other things have we not automated here today? We haven't automated LinkedIn. I'm going to do that. Every 24 hours is fine. One post at a time. Owly, that's fine. I'll go ahead and leave Owly in there, save it. And now they're asking me to upgrade to Pro. Apparently, feeds warrant upgrades. Okay? They only allow you 2 feeds in the free version. Okay, so there you go. So I'm not able to do that. Is it worth upgrading? Pretty much, because it's like $5 a month. Really not that big of a deal, but I'm not able to show you that today. Okay? You would also upgrade on Facebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pause for 2 minutes, and I'm going to upgrade this account for the purpose of this demonstration. We're going to add Facebook. We're going to add the Google Plus, Facebook. We're going to add LinkedIn so that we have everything rolling. Okay, so I went ahead and upgraded this particular Hootsuite account, although I have a few of them. The reason I did so is just so I could actually show you the full working model of how everything works. Additionally, I wanted to say you do get a free 30-day trial. As you get more skilled with RSS, there's a variety of different ways that you can connect your RSS feeds to these types of accounts. I'm just showing you this because it's pretty much fast and easy. So now that we've upgraded for the free trial, we can go ahead and set up. Let's double check what we have not set up. Let me just go ahead and click that. I think it was, what was that, Facebook? Yeah, we'll connect with the Facebook and go ahead and log in. And then we'll connect to that particular board that we wanted to use. And that's going to be natural language processing right here. And that's finished importing. So these are all tied to the Network Empire News blog. And again, you can do, when you unlock the account, you can do multiple if you wish. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do a refresh, and you'll see all 4 of these accounts located on your overview page. You can see LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Face, and then you got your Facebook specific targeted page. Keeping in mind that you can also post directly to your Facebook personal page if you wish. I do not recommend that you do that for business. Okay, so all 4 of those. Now let's go back to our RSS feed. Again, I've already shown you how to do this, but a little practice makes perfect. If you decide to use Hootsuite, go to your settings, go to RSS Atom, open up the whole RSS control panel. Again, we're going to simply put in your RSS feed. You're going to, again, we have not yet gone to Facebook. We're going to put Facebook in. One-time post every 24 hours. You have plenty of options. We recommend 24. And then go ahead and click Save Feed. And you are golden. Go ahead and add another one. I don't think we've published to LinkedIn yet. Put the same feed in. Notice that this is the same feed every time. This is just more or less designed to give you guys some practice on grabbing your feed, the power of grabbing a feed, before Jimmy and Sue give you some seriously advanced techniques on the next videos. Okay, so you're going to go right down here to LinkedIn. It's actually preparing you to use our one feed supercharger, which takes all of this to a whole new level. 24, one post at a time, same old, and you have just connected your RSS feed and are threading your content every 24 hours through these accounts. Okay, so all 4 of them are there. I get this question all the time. Can you add more accounts? Yes, Hootsuite has a limit of 100 accounts, so in theory you could instantly publish via RSS feed to 100 social media accounts. They do not provide those accounts. You have to make them yourself, but this is beyond the scope of our discussion. Just so you guys know, this is one of the several tools that can be used to publish. Now, what you will do to confirm that this is working is you will go back, and again, as I showed you before, you will see a post that will have been shared on the date somewhere within 24 hours. If you've gone every 4 hours, it'll be every 4 hours. It'll go and it'll post that blog, and it'll pull the snippet of content, and it'll lead you back to the site that you actually used the RSS feed with. Okay? In this case, this site is actually Network Empire, is actually where it's leading to. This is a fairly heavy traffic site. Okay, so that I ran the networkempire.com feed through several months back. Okay, so that's pretty much the whole setup of the basic introduction to RSS feeds and the power of being able to automatically social. Imagine what this really means for you guys. This means that you can focus on publishing, set your Twitter and your profile accounts up the first time, use your image, use the image of a real person in your brand, and be careful when you use a brand. Remember, I showed you on the Google Plus Biz page how I did not use my picture right here, or Sue Bell's picture, or Jimmy's picture. It would be better if I did. I prefer using faces in social media by default, even for big corporate brands. And actually, I just got lazy here, so probably what I would do is I would replace that with something else. However, just wanted to keep that in your mind that faces do a lot better in social media in general, so whenever you can, please do use a face. So that's one tip on profiling. Okay. Now with this, what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to follow the steps that I gave you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Notice that I did not cover Pinterest today. I wanted to leave that as what they call in showbiz a cliffhanger. I wanted to leave it as Pinterest because Pinterest is special. Probably you already know what it is, right? Images. And when we get to the image, a point where we're talking about images, we're going to be talking about RSS feed. Hootsuite does not publish to Pinterest, but our plugins do. Okay, so Social Explosion is one of the only tools on the market that we have that publish to that, so I'm going to let you wait on that. But the profile creation will be the same. If you've got extra time and you want to play around with it, create your Pinterest accounts in the same way that we showed you today, but you will not be able to use Hootsuite, which is the way that it demonstrated RSS feeds. Okay, so that is the complete setup of the basic Hootsuite, a quick start module. Sue, do you have anything that you would like to add to this or anything you'd like me to cover in addition to this?
No, I think you've done a great job.
Excellent. Hey, I would like to thank Sue Bell and Jimmy Kelley for being
I think you've done a great job.
Process. Now, I would strongly recommend that you go through the process of setting these up. Kick around your Google dashboard. And in fact, I'd like to assign that to you. Open your Google dashboard. Please, I am not teaching you to be paranoid of Google by showing you that dashboard. I just wanted you to have a healthy respect for how many things are being tracked and how things are connected. And because everything is connected, I want you to make the best use of those connections. Not be paranoid or freaked out or weirded out. Just connect the things so that you know, hey, when you start getting professional and your clients or your businesses, and when you start making 6 figures, 5 figures doing this stuff, it's very important to know that all of these things should have their own connected Google dashboard. the common questions that we get is, Russ, can I set multiple Twitter accounts to one Google dashboard? Theoretically, you could, and I'm sure Google would love it, but that's not how we teach it. We strongly recommend, more or less, that you keep a one-to-one relationship, especially when starting out or even as an intermediate, between your dashboard, your blog, and a single social media account. And in fact, I do recommend that you add your social media accounts on your blog as proof of social existence and as proof of life, as they say. And additionally, when you have nice links to your social media accounts on your homepage or your blog, if you ever get a manual review for whatever reason, it looks very human, it looks very real, because it is. You're putting your social juices into the site. You're a verified publisher. And by the way, a verified publisher action takes you a long way protecting yourself from any kind of manual penalty in terms of just crazy stuff. I mean, you've proven that you're a real person. So this sets everything up for you guys to go on to the next video, which is really crazy, powerful stuff from Sue and Jimmy. And I'm going to be there as well, maybe asking questions, because I can tell you this. I'm surprised and delighted by how much stuff the OMG team, Mike Long, David Mills, Sue Bell, Jimmy, Greg, how much they've decided to show you. I was voting against showing you some of this heavy-duty stuff, but you know what? We figure you might as well know what's coming, and we're going to show you the step-by-steps anyway. We figure you're responsible enough to figure out how to use this stuff carefully. So I'm very excited, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you.